Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is pigeonthebeat and I'm a professional music producer and songwriter. I've been working in this crazy industry for over 10 years, and in these years of working in the music industry, I have learned so much. This channel is going to be guided towards producers and writers, whether you're at the start of your career or even if you've been in it for a while but still think that you could benefit from a few pointers. Some of my videos will be guided much more towards the beginner producer and songwriter, whereas others I think could benefit anyone at any stage of their production and writing career. Now, without further ado, let's get into the first video where I'll be discussing 3 essential tips to be successful within the music industry. Let's get into it. Tip number 1. This is a huge one. Be prepared. I know this sounds super obvious, but there's so much more to being prepared than it seems. As a producer or writer, you have to be prepared for anything that might come your way. Let's say that you want to pitch a beat to an artist. You finish the beat, you have it sounding okay sonically, and you feel like it's time to send it off. Before you send it, you need to ask yourself whether you're truly prepared to do so. Okay, so yes, the beat is at a place where somebody could easily make a demo on top of it. That's awesome. But what if the artist likes the direction you're going in with this beat, yet doesn't think it's exactly right for them? Do you have 5 more beats ready on your hard drive to send them if this is the case? Or are you expecting everything to go perfectly with the one beat that you sent them? These are really important questions to ask yourself before you actually send artists your beats. To me, being fully prepared in this situation would be having 10 or even more beats that you think are ready and that fit the style of the artist that you're pitching to. Also, rather than just sending one beat to begin with, you should probably consider sending about 5 at once so that they have options. They can listen to several different beats that you made and they can choose. You don't want to go in with everything that you have all at once, but by sending them 5 beats, you're already giving them the impression that you're able to finish several beats, and they're also probably going to assume that you have more on the back burner. If you don't follow these steps and you do end up just pitching one beat to an artist, you risk several things. Firstly, if they don't like the one beat that you send, you didn't give them any other options, so they're most likely not even going to reach out to you again. Even if they do react positively to that first beat and they ask you for several more beats, you want to be ready to send those beats right away while the artist is still excited about your work. You definitely don't want to bank on the fact that you can just make 5 more perfect beats for them within a few days. But if you already have that catalog of the 10 beats, then you have stuff that you can send them the next hour. Now, being prepared as a producer or writer going to an actual session with other writers, producers, or artists is a whole other ballpark. Sessions can go so many different ways, and you want to be the one who's prepared for everything. To show up to a session prepared could mean that you're bringing complete beat demos that you've made, some loops that you've started and could be built off of, and of course, most importantly, you gotta bring a creative, open mindset in case the others want to start something from scratch. Other ways to prepare is to look at the people that you're going to the session with. Before working with them, you can check out their Instagram profiles, you can see if they have any work that's already out there that you can listen to, and just get a little bit of a sense of who you're going into the session with. This way, let's say you're going into a session with somebody who's an amazing guitarist, and maybe they also are really good at mixing. If you know these things before you go into the session, you can be prepared to just sit back when it's time to play the guitar or time to start mixing. You can let the others lead the session when it comes to something that they specialize in. Of course, there are so many other areas to being prepared that if I went through them all, we would be here forever. So here's a quick list of a few other things. Be prepared to network. Be prepared to let go of your ego during the session. Be prepared to have your ideas challenged. Be prepared to learn from others. Be prepared by bringing the right gear. Do you need headphones, an interface, an instrument, a lyric pad? Make sure you don't forget anything. So far, most of these ideas are guided towards the producer, but you can really use these tips in any area of the music industry. Tip number 2. This is an overlooked area, especially when it comes to sessions, but that doesn't mean it isn't extremely important. Always be on time. There is nothing more creatively draining than being stoked to start a session, and then when it's supposed to begin, you're stuck waiting on someone. It takes the mind out of the creative zone and can negatively affect any session that you're in. If you tend to be late, you need to be prepared to take steps that will force you to be on time. Set reminders, alarms, make sure your bag is packed before it's time to leave 10 minutes early, and go grab a coffee if you're there too early. It is always better being too early than too late. If you're always on time, people will definitely recognize and respect that. If you're always late, people will absolutely notice that as well. Whether you're a producer or a writer going into a session, or a musician going into a live rehearsal, you will get much more work and be much more respected if you're always on time. This tip is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into any further detail, but just remember, be on time. Finally, tip number 3. This tip is huge, like so unbelievably important. It's a tip that's kind of funny to even have to mention, but that being said, it will most definitely make or break your career. Always be nice. I'm sure I have some eye rollers watching right now thinking, okay, it's time to close this video. But believe me, there are so many people out there who do not follow this tip. And I can guarantee you it results in them getting far less work. There are so many layers to being nice as a producer or a writer. It starts just in the way you hold yourself physically and how you see yourself. Don't walk into a writing session with an attitude as if you're better than anyone else in the room. Don't go in cocky and ready to show how good you are. I mean, obviously, it's so important to be confident and to know your own worth, but you have to remember there are others in the room who, no matter what you think, are just as important as you are to the session. If you enter the room with a smile, leaving your ego at the door, and ready to have an open mind for everyone's ideas, you're in the right mindset. When writing or producing with others, it's important to be able to challenge ideas when you think that there's room for improvement, whether it's somebody else's idea or your own idea. As part of the session, you have to remember everyone has feelings. So it's really important not to shut somebody's idea down with a negative attitude. Instead, you can say something along the lines of, "Hey, that's a really cool idea. I also had an idea for this section. Do you mind if we try it? I'd love to compare both ideas to see which fits better." This way, you're going in with an attitude that shows that you respect everyone's ideas, but you also want to do everything that you can to make the best finished product. Being nice could even be as simple as answering DMs or comments on social media. If somebody comments saying, "Love this beat, it's dope," you always might as well respond to them, letting them know that you appreciate it. By doing so, it gives the world the knowledge that you are an easygoing person, and people will definitely recognize that. Whether or not the person that's commenting is going to help your career in the future or not, it just doesn't even matter. People will see that you're being nice on social media, which will give the impression that you're also nice in person as well. At the end of the day, you just have to be able to check yourself. The best thing is when there's a successful producer or writer who is as interested in hearing everyone else's ideas as their own. No one should ever hold themselves above others in a creative space, but unfortunately, a lot of people fall into that mindset. So there they are. To me, these are the 3 most important things that you can remember to be successful in the music industry. Being talented is super important, but believe me, some of the most talented people get left in the dust because they don't follow these 3 tips. I know these are pretty broad ideas, and in future videos, I'll be discussing ideas that are more directly to do with music, but I thought for my first video, it's important to bring these things up because they're really what I hold myself to. And believe me, you will see immediate benefits if you follow them as well. So, I hope that you got something out of this video, and I would love to hear your thoughts. This is my first ever video, so please like and subscribe if you found this helpful at all. I'd also love to see comments, positive or negative. And if you leave negative comments, I would love for them to be constructive criticism so that I can learn and get better at helping all of you out there. My next video is going to be on the topic of how to start collaborating, and you do not want to miss that. Collaboration is such an important part of what we do in the music industry, and similar to this video, I'm going to give you some tips that will really help you out. It's going to be out in 3 days, so put that in your calendar, and again, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and all of that good stuff. With that, I am out.